Hi guys, welcome back. In this video, we are continuing pages 42 to 43, but in this one, I'm going to include questions 5 through 7 on page 42. The next video will just have the two challenge problems on it. So just to recap, in the last video, we were able to cross off these four solutions: x equals 12, x equals negative 1/3, and then two no solutions. All right, so continuing with problem 5. Okay, so problem 5. Whoops. Oh, well, that's fine. Problem 5 is 8 times the quantity of x plus 2, and that is equal to 2x plus 16. Okay, and I did go ahead and update my little goal and step sheet here to include this simplify if needed, combine like terms in zero pairs, but otherwise it is still the same. So first step is to do the distributive property and flipping. So looking here, I have distributive property going on in this part right here. So I'm going to do 8 times x and then 8 times 2. So 8 times x will give me 8x. And then 8 times 2 gives me 16. Now I have nothing to distribute on the right. Wow, it's been a long day, guys. Okay, so there's nothing to distribute over there. So I still just have 2x plus 16. All right, second step is to simplify if needed. Now, there's nothing I can combine on either side. Remember, we're just talking about combining those same tiles. So over here, I'd put all the x's together and then all the ones together, but they're already separate, right? And over here is the same thing. All my x's are together and all of my ones are together, right? Okay. So that means my next step is to add or subtract x's from one side. So I'm going to go with my bigger value of x's, which is 8. So I'm going to take away from my other side. So this is positive 2x. So I'm going to subtract or take away 2 x's from both sides. And that's just simple matching sets, right? I can take away 2 x's from both sides. All right, so then over here, I took away 2x, so I have 6 left. And then I still have this plus 16. Over here, I had 2 x's, and then I took 2 x's away. So now I have no x's, but then I still have 16. All right, so my next step, now that I have all of my x's over on one side, is to get rid of the ones that are sharing that same side, right? I just want x's over here. So I'm going to do the opposite. In this case, is being added. So I'm going to subtract or take away 16 from both sides. And again, this is just simple matching sets. Okay, so now I have 6x on the left. These have gone away. And these have gone away. So if I have 16 and I take 16 away, there's nothing left. But in math, I don't just write nothing, right? I write 0. So 6 times a number equals 0. So you should be thinking to yourself, what can I multiply by 6 to get 0? So to answer that, we're going to go ahead and divide by the coefficient, which is 6 in this case, so the number in front of the variable. 6 divided by 6 is 1, so now I just have 1x. And then on the right, 0 divided by 6 is 0, right? If I have 0 things and I split them into 6 groups, each group still has 0, right? So x equals 0 is my answer. Sometimes you guys are getting a little bit confused, and when it says 0, you just assume, I guess, that it means that it's infinite solutions or no solutions, but that's not the case. X can still be equal to 0. Okay, so then over here, I'm going to cross off. Notice I have two options for x equals 0, so it doesn't really matter which one you cross off, and that is number 5. Okay, moving right along, we'll go ahead and do number 6. All right, so I have 12 plus 2x minus an x is equal to 9x plus 6. Okay, so right away I notice that there's no parentheses, so I don't have any distributive property or flipping. So I'm going to start by simplifying, combining my like terms, so combining all my x's and combining all my 1's. Okay, so I don't see anything to combine or simplify over here on the right. I just have x's and 1's, but they're already together. But over here, my 1's are all together, but my x's are not. Okay, so I'm going to keep 12 the same. But then 2x take away 1x means I just have one positive x left. And then over here, I still have 9x plus 6. It stays the same. Okay, so that was step 2 to simplify it, put it all together. Now I need to add or subtract the x's from one side, so doing my matching sets. All right, so right away I notice that I've got a lot more 9's over here. So if I think about matching sets, I do have a positive x that I can take away from both sides. All right, I'm not doing anything with the 12 yet. X, take away an x means that those are gone. Over here, I had 9 x's and I took one away. So now I just have 8 x's. And I haven't changed the plus 6, so that stays the same. All right, that is step 3. Now I only have x's on the right, none on the left. So that part is good. Next, I need to worry about the numbers. I want all the numbers on the other side. So I need to get rid of this plus 6. So to get rid of a plus 6, I need to do the opposite, which is subtract 6. And if you think about matching sets, I have 6 positives over here and 12 positives over here. So the most I can take away is 6 from each side. So I had 12, took away 6. So now I have 6 left. And over here, I have 8 x's because those 6's canceled out or went away. Oh, they made this one not a pretty number too. That's okay. So now I have 6 is equal to 8x, and that was step number 4 done. So my last step is to divide by the coefficient, or the number in front of x. Okay, so I'm going to divide both sides by 8. The x's cancel out, so I just have, the 8's cancel out, so I just have an x. And then I have 6/8. Now you can do this on the calculator, but you'll notice none of the options here are decimals. Okay, I need a fraction. And I don't see 6/8 on here, which means I'm gonna need to simplify it. Okay, 6/8 is not as simple as it can get. So I need to simplify 6/8, which is really a whole nother lesson. So I'm not going to spend too long on how to simplify a fraction. But basically, I need to find what number I can divide the top and the bottom by. So I need a common factor of 6 and 8. So the only one is 2. So I'm going to divide the top and the bottom by 2. Mathematically, this is allowed because 2 over 2 is just 1. And if I divide a number by 1, that doesn't change it at all, right? 5 divided by 1 is 5. 6 divided by 1 is 6. So I can divide a number by 1, and it doesn't change the value. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So 6/8 is equivalent to 3/4. So my solution is x equals 3/4. And if I look at my solutions, that is an option. Okay, so x equals 3/4. And if the part that you're confused on is the simplifying from 6/8 to 3/4, yes, that is something that you should know already, but I'm not going to spend time explaining that here right now. So let me know if you need help on that, and I can recommend some videos for you to watch. Okay, moving right along. Let's do number 7, the last one for this video. No, wait. Oh, I wrote 5 through 7. We need to do 5 through 8. Darn it. We need to do 4 problems on this one. That's okay. So number 7, I have negative 2x. Oh, just kidding. Negative 2 times the quantity of x plus 1. Let's hope I can pay attention here. And that is equal to 2 times the quantity of x minus 1. Okay. So my first step is to do the distributive property / flipping. Now I don't just see a negative signs. I do see a negative, but it has a number too. So I'm not just flipping here. I'm actually going to do some distributing and multiply -2 times x and then -2 times 1. So -2 times x just gives me -2x. And then -2 times +1 is -2. Okay, notice how I said -2, but I wrote -2. A lot of you guys are getting confused on the fact that that is the same thing. Okay, subtracting 2 is the same thing as adding -2. Okay, then over here, I have to do the same thing, except now it's a +2. So 2 times x gives me 2x, and then +2 times -1 gives me -2. Okay. So careful here. You're going to want to do matching sets and take away 2 x's because that is the step that we're on here. Step 3, adding and subtracting x's from one side. But I have to be careful because this is -2x, not positive. So if I had this with my tiles, these would be red and those would be blue. That's not the same thing. I can't take those away. So instead, I'm going to add or subtract. And remember, I said the one with the biggest value. So yes, they're both 2's, but this one is negative. So it has a smaller value than +2x. Plus, negatives are just icky, and I don't want any negatives. So I'm going to get rid of this -2x by doing the opposite, which is addition. So I'm adding 2x to both sides. The reason why I do that is because now these two can cancel out, and I just have -2. Now over here on the right, I have 4x minus 2. All right, so that was step 3. Get all the x's over on one side. Okay, I have only x's on the right, no x's on the left. Now I need to get all of the numbers over to the other side. So I need to get rid of that -2. And I'm going to do that by adding 2 to both sides. Okay, -2 plus 2 is 0. So over here I have 0. -2 plus 2 again is 0. So I have 0 equals 4x. And this is really similar to one that we already did because I'll divide both sides by that coefficient of 4. 0 split up into 4 groups is still 0 in each group. So 0 is equal to x, or x is equal to 0. Same thing. And then I will go ahead and cross off x is equal to 0. Oh, geez, there's another x equals 0? Well, hopefully we don't get that one again. Okay, so that was number 7. Now we'll go ahead and start the last video for this column. This one has lots of distributing. So 8, we have 4 times the quantity of x plus 1. And that is equal to 4 times the quantity of 2 minus x. Okay, they're trying to trick us here, putting that number in front of the x. Okay, so first step is distributive property. So I'm going to distribute that 4 to both of these numbers. So 4 times x is 4x. Positive 4 times positive 1 is just 4. Over here on the right, I have 4 times 2, which is 8. And then 4 times -x, which is -4x. Okay, so that was step 1. Step 2 is to simplify or combine like terms, but I don't have anything to simplify or to combine on either side, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to step 3, which is to add or subtract the x's from one side. Again, I want to keep my x's on the side with the bigger value of x's, so I want to get rid of this -4x. So that means I'm going to add 4x to both sides, which makes this cancel out. So over here on the left, 4x plus 4x means I have 8 x's. I'm going to keep that plus 4. And then on the right, I'm going to keep that 8. But now those 4 x's have canceled out, the -4x and the +4x. So now I only have x's over here on the left. I don't have any on the right. So my next step is to care about these ones. Okay, so I have ones on both sides of the equal sign. So I need to get them all over here on the right. So I'm going to take away 4 from both sides. Here I have 8x because 4 minus 4 is 0. Over here, 8 minus 4 gives me 4. So I have 8x is equal to 4. So 8 times x is equal to 4. Or if I have 8 people and 4 cookies, I want to know how many cookies each person would get. So I'm splitting up those cookies into 8 even people, right? So I have x over here because 8 divided by 8 is just 1x. So those cancel and I'm just left with the x. 4 divided by 8 is 1/2. And that is your answer. So looking at our sheet, do I have that as an option? Yes, it's right there. For a second, I didn't see it and I was a little concerned, but we're good. So that was x equals 1/2. And that is the last question for this video. I will go ahead and make a third and final video for those 2 challenge questions.